my case.
That's it? Are you sure you don't need to defend me a little more?
Oh, trust me, this case is in the bag.
If there are no closing arguments, we'll excuse the jury for deliberation.
Your Honor, I speak for the rest of the jury. He's guilty as sin.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Very well. This court finds Mr. Winkelmeyer guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
Oh, that is so not good.
Well, bummer for you. You'll get my bill in the morning.
God will eventually be your judge. Are you prepared? The Bible says that Jesus speaks to the Father in our defense. Are you trusting Jesus with where you'll spend eternity? Another message from Lifeline Productions.
You're listening to Kristocentric Station.
Kristocentric Station.
Safe and family-friendly radio with music to uplift your spirit.
Hi, this is Darlene Check.
What's up to all my family? And this is your brother, your cousin, your nephew, Kirk Franklin.
What's up, everybody? This is Michael Stampling.
Everybody, this is your friend Travis Green.
Hello, this is Sinach.
Hello, God's people. This is Joe Metzel.
Hi there, this is Yolanda Adams.
Hey, family, this is Phil Thompson.
Hi, this is Donnie McClurkin.
Hello, everybody. This is Sammy Oposo.
Hey, this is Chevelle Franklin.
Hello, my name is Koda.
Hi, this is Pastor Ina Fletcher.
Hi, this is Patrick Duncan.
Hey, yo, what's good? Akessa Brempong here.
It's your family, your brother, your friend, Dietrich Hadd.
This is Smiley Music.
My name is Celestine Donko.
Hello, my name is Tosi Bartos.
Hello, this is Pastor William McDowell.
This is Chris Yoting.
Hi, this is Uche Ago.
Hey, what's up? It's Darwin Hobbs.
Hey, it's Rashawn Mitchell.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Neil Kine.
Hi, my name is Danny Nete.
God bless you, Sonny Badu.
Hello, everybody. My name is Priyo Dede.
What's up, people? This is Obi Shine.
Hello, everybody. This is Mkululi Pepe.
Hello there. My name is Samsung.
Hi, this is Helen Yawson.
Hey, everybody. This is Lionel Peterson.
What's up, everybody? This is Ty Tribbett. Don't go nowhere.
Serving the body of Christ.
You are listening to Kristocentric Station.
Don't you wanna be a part of the kingdom? Don't you wanna be a part of the kingdom? Oh, don't you wanna be a part of the kingdom? Oh, come on, everybody.
Find us online, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and on TuneIn. Kristocentric Station, the Kingdom Promoter.
Well, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever's in store for me, it's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't stop shouting, knowing it's gonna be nice. Well, you never promised me that my days would be problem-free, but you did promise to always take care of me. Right now it seems that my troubles will never end. I know you promised to be my closest friend, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever you got in store for me, Lord. It's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't stop shouting. Oh yeah. It's gonna be nice. Well, I gotta remind myself daily who lives inside of me, and when I stay close to you, close to me, you're gonna be. No more crying about my situation. I know what I gotta do. I gotta pray.
very good evening to you. You are tuned into the Life and Grace show with Karis and Eva. I hope you've had a wonderful week and you've had a productive one too. Mine has been good, I think. I want to check in. Eva, are you right there? She's there, but I can't hear her yet. Okay, that's cool. Well, thank you for joining us on this. Well, it's a holiday in Ghana. I don't know whether it's a holiday in the UK as well. So most people have probably had a relaxed day. Okay. Eva, are you there? We're good. Okay. So let me hear your beautiful voice. It's been a whole week.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good.
How's your day been?
It's been very productive.
Awesome. And I'm glad you're talking about productivity. So for those of you who are tuned in, welcome to our second edition of the Life and Grace show with Karis and Eva. And we have an interesting topic for you today. Today we're talking about not too late, not too lost. So yeah, Eva, want to throw some thoughts, words about what that's about today?
Yes, so when we talked about this topic, one of the things that we discussed is the fact that as we go through life, there are things that we expect, there are things that society expects of us, and sometimes we give timelines for these things to be achieved. These can be internal, they can be external, they could be varying factors. And the question about what these timelines drew us to the conclusion that some people might be in a space in their lives, or some people might experience situations that they felt were situations where they felt that they were not achieving what they deemed as success in that area of their life within a certain frame of time. So, for example, you're a certain age and you feel that you should have been married, you should have had a certain number of degrees, you should have had kids, you should have had certain job opportunities that you feel, or promotions that you feel you haven't gotten yet. So that's what this topic is about. If you feel that you are late, it's too late. Say, too late is not lost. We're going to delve deeply into that.
Awesome. So something funny happened to me today. So I left home in good time, knowing that, okay, looking at Google Maps, I had about 14 minutes to get to the studio. And then I came with a route that I don't usually use. Normally I come from, where's that place? Just around Asylum Down. But this time I was coming from Kolebu and I said, oh, I'm going to trust Google Maps. Then I got into Adabraka and then I did like 3 squares around Farah Avenue. And of course, I was saying to myself, yeah, because I voiced out the topic, not too late or not too lost, I don't want to get lost. And I was getting all freaked out because I was worried I was not getting into studio in time. So just a few seconds ago, I could so relate with people who feel that, it's getting late for me. And I'm a little lost. That's exactly how I felt. It's the middle of the year. We're in just about the end of June. And normally this is the time where people start doing mid-year reviews. And when that happens, 2 things happen. Some people who have been on top of their game are excited. They have the oomph. They have the energy. It's like, yeah, let's do this. 2023, we've got you. But for a lot of us who had several areas that we said we were going to work on, which may not have gone exactly like we wanted them to do, we begin to ask ourselves, yikes, is it too late? I mean, the year, okay, then you start cancelling out 2023. You're like, you know what, let's just try again in 2024. But today we're looking at it from 2 perspectives, the short-term planning for the year, as well as the big perspective that Eva was talking about, your life, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, 30-year goals, and all the things that you hoped you would have achieved by now. You might not yet have achieved them, but it's not too late and you're not too lost. There's some Bible verses that I really love that really tie into this. I think I'll share the first one being Jeremiah 29:11. Almost everyone who goes to Sunday school, that's one of the verses that you get taught. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." So if you're listening to us from anywhere around the world and you're feeling, let me cancel out 2023, let me cancel out my 30th year or my 45th year or my 50th year, don't do that. There's still hope. Just last week, I was with my daughters. We went to KFC. Ooh, should I be giving free advertising? Well, we went there. And they were asking me about the person who started KLC. I think they saw some pictures on the wall. And so I started talking about Colonel Sanders and the fact that he was way gone. I think, was it 75? When he finally came up with this big and great idea of KFC. So you would have, if you met him in his 20th year, I don't know what you would have thought about him. Even in his 40th year, you know, lifestyles are 40. You'd have been like, 50 still, 60. You'd have said, oh, this man is now an old man. But 75 is when he came up with this great idea, which has moved around the world now. So it's never too late. Eva?
And I just want to add something about KFC. This is a story I told as well because I found it really fascinating. What you should know about this guy is that he didn't just decide, oh, I'm not 75, let me start over. He had started long before that. He had seen so much failure that he didn't give up and kept going and going. And in light of what we are talking about, I just want to mention this, and this is something I heard from a great while ago. This name was so I don't remember. But it says, success is not a of wealth, the successful completion of a project, but the continuing achievement of becoming the person God wants you to be, and accomplishing the goals that God has helped us to set in our lives. So just to put this into perspective, so that as we talk about success, you don't have this materialistic, imagination of what it should be. If God's purpose for this guy was to set up KFC, then he has fulfilled his life's purpose. But you do not know what your purpose is. It could be to go on missions, to unreach, to go to places where there's no lights, there's no place to lay your head that's comfortable. It could be anything. And so as we talk about this, let's think about success not in the form of what people define for you or what generally the world defines, but it's about God's will for your life, where He wants you to be, and at what time He wants you to be in that place.
Love it. Love it. So, so true. So, I mean, if someone is listening to us today and they're a bit down, today is the 28th of June. And so many days have passed in this year. And they're just looking at themselves and they're saying to themselves, I really don't think I've achieved much. How would you start picking them up, and what would you say to encourage them? What would the first thing that you tell them to do, what would that be? What would you say first to them?
First thing I'd say, and again that ties into what I just shared, to seek God's will. And we all hear God in different ways. Some people will hear the audible voice of God, sometimes you hear in your dreams. Sometimes it's just an impression you have in your spirit that you should go in this line, or that you should seek direction in a different way. And other times He brings the right people into your life and they help you shape and direct your path, whether you should go. And for me, the first thing I'd say is, what do you believe? What do you feel the will of God for your life is? And once that's clear, you can start defining that path. And you can start asking yourself if indeed what you see as a setback is it actually a setback. And so defining that is important. Of course, the other thing would be to empathize. One of the things I've learned about recently, which I do my best not to project onto others, is something known as toxic positivity. That's when someone shares a problem with you and then you just try to start giving them advice around what they could do to turn their lives around, or telling them, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing, cry. People have gone through words and you are there crying, So in your quest to help them out of a situation, you could end up becoming a toxic person in their life because you refuse to meet them at where they are, empathize and understand that in that moment is difficult. And so, yes, I will talk about the will of God for your life. Have you heard God? How do you feel? I would empathize and, just start from the point where you are, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, love it. So seeking God's will, looking out for people God has brought into your life, not minimalizing the problem. Yeah, very true. And then defining plans. Really, really, really love that. I'm going to pick up from the defining plans. I think a good thing to do is to audit. I mean, yes, you're at the middle of the year, so look at your life. You know that nursery Sunday school song that we used to sing about counting your blessings, name them one by one? I think it's a good thing. And not because we want to run away or hide our faces from the things that you haven't necessarily done yet, or that you've maybe failed to do. That's not the reason. The reason why it's good to count those blessings one by one is sometimes when you look at what you have achieved in a year, it's a good boost. It's a great way to tell yourself that you are at least alive and healthy, and there's some things that you have going for you. So I would do an audit and I would write the things that I've been able to do this year so far. The things that I have been able to achieve, the victories I have won, the pleasant surprises that have come my way. I would look at it. Then the next thing is to look at your life in segments. So look at different aspects of your life. Physically, health-wise, how are you doing? Financially, how are those plans, those savings, investments, all of those things going? Career and academically, how are you doing in that? Are you doing well at work? Are you learning? Are you developing? Relationally, I love family. I mean, family is really important to me, and how I am raising the children with my husband, how I'm relating with my husband is a major thing for me. It's one of those big segments in life. Whether you're looking at psychologically, emotionally, your own well-being, how you're doing, how are you taking care of yourself? Are you making sure that you are healthy? Because if you overbeat the horse, at some point you can no longer run the race because the horse is like totally gone. And then, of course, very, very important, spiritually. Now, the good thing about looking at it in that breakdown, several segments, is that it's possible that you've always been keeping your mind on the career and the academic. And so maybe by now you thought you'd be boss number one, or you'd be CEO or GM, and you're not yet there. And so because your mind has always been on that, you get depressed, you get sad, you feel that you haven't hit your targets for the year or for the last 5 years. But if you look at the other aspects, you might realize that, hey, you know what? I've grown spiritually. Some of the stuff that used to really irritate me and I would snap back at, now I can just do a woosa. And I'm being very patient and loving with people. Or you realize that financially you've been able to save some money. You've been a bit more frugal, and you've been able to put aside a little bit more thinking about the future. Or you look at different places and you realize that there are some goals. One of the things personally I really, really want to work a lot on is my physical health. And almost every new year, I talk about wanting to walk 3 times a week, the sit-ups I want to do. So we're in June, and the mat is still rolled under the table. However, one good thing physically is that I don't eat late, and that has really made a difference. I don't eat past 7:30 or 7, so that has really helped. So yeah, if you look at it from different angles, it really, really helps knowing that you have achieved something. Yes, Miss Eva?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And there's something you mentioned my mind to this scripture, and that's Psalm 143, verse 4, and it says, remember what God has done for you. Let His grace and mercy remind you of His unfailing love. And like Karis was saying, oftentimes you're thinking about, what you have not achieved. However, in that moment of desperation of feeling that you're not where you want to be, you forget that at some point in time you wanted to be over there, and God moved you that way. And the same God who has done it will do it again in His own time. And I have lots of stories when it comes to this, but I will share just two, and they tie in together. So, one experience I've had with, a situation that you consider as having been late. I felt I was late to get to university. So I finished high school at age 16. I was always the youngest in class, so kept finishing everything early. It appeared as if I was a promising student at school. However, I was doing the wrong course. I was doing science. I absolutely disliked it. I told my parents several times. They refused to let me go to a different class, and I just sailed through. I even used to represent my class for science quizzes on radio, and sometimes I made it to quarterfinal. I did that. It's only the grace of God, but I knew that was not my area, and I needed to be somewhere else. So, behold, the exam was taken. I could never pass physics and chemistry. I tried 3 times, must have been 3 or 2 times. So the years were going. I was very older. At 17, 18, I remember I'll go to my friends who have already gone to university. They're having so much fun. And I just felt like this is late. I want to be there. Why is this not happening for me now? But I kept doing the same thing over and over. Going back to write the same subjects I absolutely hated and disliked. And I'll tell you the truth, my dad took me to the best extra classes. I went to Preset, yes, for classes. I went to finance. At some point, he even got a junior doctor to teach me at home. But half the time I was sleeping with my eyes open. I was not interested at all. And so there was no way I was ever going to pass these exams, right? So at some point in time, I thought I had to do something different, okay? So I know that my area is in the arts. I love reading. I love literature. Anything to do with language, and yeah, that's my area, humanities. So I told my dad after trying severally that I want to go and register completely different subjects from what I did in high school and try again. And he said, "This is ridiculous. Everyone who knew me said, you're crazy, this will not work. People spend 3 years in high school and some of them don't even pass. So what makes you think that, you will pass?" And the reason they found this crazy is because the exam date was in 3 months. The exam was supposed to be taken in 3 months, and I now wanted to go and study and pass these courses. Well, my dad didn't agree, but I went to my pastor, Reverend Institute, and I cried. I was so desperate and upset, and just my life was over. If they didn't allow me to do this, I didn't think that I could, achieve what I wanted to, which at the time for me was going to university. So my pastor walked me, he took me to my dad's clinic and spoke to him. And he agreed, just like that, because my dad respects me so much, and I knew that this is someone who listened to. But of course, the onus was on me to pass the exams, right? Because it's in 3 months. And so I took literature, economics, and history. And for literature, I didn't get a teacher because nobody wanted to commit to that. The teacher point blank told me, "This will not work. I'm sorry, I'm not going to waste my time on you. But here are the books. Good luck. You can go and read them." The course teacher was a teacher in a secondary school, so he said, I can teach you from 5 a.m. till about 6, and then I need to prepare and go to school. So he did that on sort of a part-time basis. Sometimes he had to travel, so I had to read a lot on my own. And the history teacher was my dad's NBC secretary who came to the house to teach me. And because he was young, it was always a battle where we're arguing, but we're learning at the same time. And to cut a very long story short, I got a B in literature, the subject I didn't have it all. And the other 2 subjects I had C's, and that's what I added my core subjects to go to university. So something that seems so impossible and something that felt so late, I did achieve in the end. By the time I went to university, I was 20 years. I was happy. That's how I felt. But God being so good, it didn't feel like that. There were lots of people on my age, older people, a lot of people who were mums. They had, done lots of different careers and they decided to come to university at a different age. So I didn't feel out of place at all. And the rest I'll keep adding on, because even though it felt like I was late, I managed to go to university. That was my dream, and went on to do a master's, and God has kept blessing me in that area.
Love it. Love it. So you're still listening to the Life and Grace Show with Karis and Eva, and we're talking about not too late, not too lost. If you just tuned in and you're wondering what it is about, it's about being in the middle of the year and taking stock of our year. Some of us are feeling a bit down. Some of us are feeling very encouraged. But for those of us who might not feel that we've hit the bull target, just to let you know that the Lord knows the plans He has for us, and He will bring them to pass. I want us to take a quick song break. Enjoy the song by Moses Bliss, Miracle No They Tire Jesus. And when we come back, we continue with the chat. Catch you soon.
Miracle, no they tire Jesus, so to bless the person, no they tire Jesus, so he don't do one before, he still they do one again, child. Miracle, no they tire Jesus, miracle, no they tire Jesus, so to bless the person, no they tire Jesus, so he don't do one before, he still they do one again, child. Miracle, no they tire.
From my cradle days till this very day, I have never ever heard or seen my Jesus fail. From before time began, He has never ever changed. He's the same today, just as He was yesterday. Miracle, goodness, favor, mercy, sure. My brother, tell him what you want. He'll give you everything and more. Miracle, no they tire Jesus.
Miracle, no they tire Jesus. So to bless the person, no they tire Jesus. So he don't do one before, he still they do one again. Child, miracle, no they tire.
My eyes have seen and my ears have heard of the favor and the blessing of the Lord upon my life. Papa, you too much, oh. Jesus, now Papa, overdue. Oh, patience, that the Lord is good. Papa, your goodness, He they make my belly full. Papa, you too much, oh. Yeah. This one a blessing overdose, oh. Miracle, no they tire Jesus.
Miracle, no they tire Jesus. So to bless the person, no they tire Jesus. So he don't do one before, he still they do one again. Child, miracle, no they tire Jesus.
To bless the person, no, He no they tire Jesus. To favor person, no, He no they tire Jesus. To turn your life around, He no they tire Jesus.
Miracle, no they tire Jesus.
To bless the person, no,
They tire Jesus.
to favor person, no, to change your life, so
So that was Moses Bliss with Miracle No They Tire Jesus. Wow, if you're listening to us and you've had a tough week or you've had a tough month, or it looks like 2023, you just wanted to write it off, please know that it's not too late. You're not too lost. Giving miracles, blessing us, whether it's with life and breath, ideas, family, ingenuity, solutions. He doesn't get tired of it. He can do that. So we're talking about ways that we can move forward. I mean, Eva, when you were sharing your story about, getting to college later. My goodness, I can so relate with that. I also wanted to really get into college at a certain age, young enough. I think I was a bit older than you though, but I wanted to try and get in at a certain time. And when I applied with my whole class, we were about 48. I think we were about 48. I was one of the few who didn't get in that first time. Now, I'm not going to blame anyone because there are some things I could have done. There are some things I could have done better with regards to my applications and everything, and I didn't do it. And I remember the very last letter that came that said, no, sorry, you didn't get into college. I had a very good friend of mine. We went to school together, commonly in Ghana known as Manifest. And he was standing right next to me, and I remember putting my head on his shoulder and just crying because I really wanted to go into college. But, you know, God orders our steps. I took a gap year and I went, I taught in a school in Togo for a year, and I applied again. And this time I was really serious, studied very hard, and I got into college. I got in a semester later than my colleagues got in that year, but I was so focused. Like, I was taking extra credits because I was going to do it in 3.5 years, not 4 years. And so I was very focused. And I'm grateful for going to college at that time because I met a friend who then became a roommate, who then became a sister, who I became her maid of honor, and she became my maid of honor. And we've had about 18 years of friendship. I'm grateful. I couldn't have gone to college at a better time because of the friendship I have with my sister, LP Cherish Tengabo. I am so grateful. And so many other people who came in at exactly that time. Friendships have grown, relationships have grown. We now have families. So if you're listening to us and you're just wondering whether it's late for you, it's not too late. It's not too late. And I know another area that a lot of ladies, and sometimes I hear gentlemen too talk about it, worry about when it comes to timing and feeling it's too late or all is lost, is relationships. So that's another one that we definitely want to target and talk about. Relationships. Starting, not feeling that you've lost everything and knowing that there's something to do. So we just talked about how you can do an audit of all these areas. Thank God for the things that you've achieved. Then what do you do next? What do you do next? Well, I think the one thing you could definitely do is now look at it in segments and think of little ways in which you can actually work on these things. Realistic goals, what we call SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. So we have 6 months left for the year, but we are in Ghana. So you know that December, if it has to do with paperwork and sorting out things, don't consider December too much. Just consider the next 5 months. So you have July through to November. And then what can you do in those 5 months realistically? Maybe you cannot touch all 6, 7, 8 areas, but maybe there are 3 areas that you can definitely do. You know, one of the things I was thinking about when I was coming to the studio was the fact that one of my weaknesses is I like things to start rounded. So I want to start on a Monday, or let's say a Sunday, or even when I want to post on social media, I want it to be at 8 a.m. or 7:30. Like, I'll be looking at it and I'll be like, nah, it's 7:50 something. That's an odd time. Let's wait till 8. And I don't know whether you're like me and you like that perfect rounded figure. But I want to say that it's time. It's all time. So even if you start on a Friday, or you start on a Thursday or a Saturday, just start. You know, break it down into little chunks and start doing it. Finances. Yes, your goal was to save 1,000 Ghana cedis a month. Why don't you start with that 50 Ghana? At least you can put away the 50 Ghana and it adds up. Physically, you said you wanted to exercise 3 times a week. Okay. What if you start with dancing on Saturday evenings with the gospel reggae or gospel dance hall that you like in your room? You're not getting to do the power walking 3 times a week, but you're at least getting to exercise once a week. Spiritual. Oof. This is one where there's a lot of guilt. You haven't read through the Bible. And this is the 5th year where you said you're going to read through the Bible. And then when you passed Numbers, you stopped. Start again. Pick up the Bible. Read something. Speak to the Holy Spirit. And begin to see how He's helping you grow. That's what makes a big difference. That's what makes a big difference. So, checking in. Eva, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Just like Karis was sharing about nice things around it. For some people, you want it yesterday, and that's me. If I set to do something, I want it now. I'm one of these people. If I have a project, I procrastinate, and then at night, when it's the D-Day, I start trying to cram everything in. And I know that's a weakness. I know I should not do that. But, I do it and I suffer. And each time I tell myself, try to do it differently next time. When I met Sasha at university, one of the things I admired about him was just the way, how strategic he is in the things he does. When it comes to getting things done, he does it in chunks. And that's just how he is. He's never been any different. When he has an assignment in a month's time, he will have his daily target. Today I'm doing 200 words. And he will actually do 200 words. And I used to think, it's really strange. It's in a month's time. Why are you even bothering, Because I have not been able to have that discipline to do that, but I have seen over time how relaxed he is about things, how unruffled he is, and I see the results. It's a lot better. I can't tell you how many times I'm cramming things in on the night that before I submit, and the ideas are there. I have the knowledge, but the time is not there because I didn't try and segment and do things gradually. And like Karis is saying, all the different things she's mentioned, these are practical, these are everyday events that we can all do. As Christians, we tend to, and me included, bring God into everything. But sometimes there are things we need to do so that God will bless it. So when it comes to academics, like I'm saying, if you have a whole month to submit your assignment and you've been waiting and waiting, it doesn't matter how many prayer meetings you attended, my sister. it will not be easy for you. So, and if you don't attend the lectures and on the last day you wake up, all those things are not suddenly going to just manifest in your head so you can go and write the exam. So there are things that we can do to make some of the things that we're hoping for in our lives become possible. I shared the story about what I went through with my academics. In this situation, it must have just been the wrong subject. It didn't matter how intense the classes were for me to understand physics and chemistry. I didn't understand. But part of it was because I didn't want to. I didn't like it, so I just shut my mind. So sometimes it's also asking yourself, this thing you're pushing for, is it even the right thing for you? Ask yourself, is there something else that you should be doing? Because as you keep repeating the same thing that's failing, time is going. Sometimes you just need to step back, look around, and make some changes.
Love it. Love it. I just saw a message from Fifi. I'm so not going to mind him. No, it wasn't a crush. It was a shoulder to lean on. Thank you very much. So we're talking about ways in which you can redeem the times and keep going at it in 2023. Now, one of the things I've really learned is the 15-minute rule. And I don't remember reading it. I might have stumbled upon it at some point. And this was that if I am going to any meeting or I'm going anywhere and I can find 15 minutes where there's nothing happening, I would fill it with something productive. So if I am in school and I'm studying and I have to go and meet a professor or a lecturer or head of department, and I would always carry a book or something, a notebook, a book, my phone in my bag. And if I get there and I realize that, oh, I'm being told to wait for 30 minutes, I'll not sit down and twiddle my thumbs for 30 minutes. I'll pick a book and start reading. I find it very important because that, along with the power of writing lists, has really helped me in being more productive. So the first thing is, whether it's in the morning or the Friday or the Sunday, writing a list of what needs to be done, the to-do list, the mighty to-do list. And something that I incorporated in that learning from the Hard Group Ghana was writing the to-do list based on roles. So I am a mother, but I am a wife. I am a worker, career person. I work at an international high school. I minister with the Hard Group. I minister through radio on Gaffer's Hour and the Life and Grace show with Karis and Eva. I am a daughter to my parents, now my mom alone. I am a sister to my siblings. I am a friend and a sister in Christ. That's just about 7 to 8 roles. Now, typically, when you write your to-do list, you're going to write it from one perspective. You might write all the things you have to do at work, but you've forgotten that you promised your husband that you're going to look into that mortgage, or you promised the kids that next week they have a craft project at school and you're going to buy them some material for the craft project. When you write your to-do list according to your roles, you would write at least something for each of those roles. And you can then prioritize it. Which ones are time bound, which ones are important and urgent and need to be dealt with. So as you're working through what you're doing at work and giving your time to work, when you find that 15 minutes at the doctor's appointment or in traffic or something, if you're not driving, you can push in something. One of the things I find is very good to use in those 15 minutes are phone calls. Sometimes I promised somebody I would call them back, or I promised I would get some information and give it to them. But if my mind works the typical Karis, which is 8 a.m. because it should be a rounded time, or call on Saturday or call on Sunday, I have the information, but I never give it to them. But with that 15 minutes rule, when there's time in between something, I would quickly look at my list. What can I do in this 15 minutes? And I get it done. So I'd suggest that's something you could pick up, and you'd realize that you're doing more, planning more, achieving more, glorifying God in the way that you're doing stuff. Eva, any other tips on how we can redeem the time?
I love that, Karis. And I have to add, I'm a to-do list person as well. And very recently, I've also started putting things in my calendar, in my diary, just so that I get a reminder. I give myself 1 week reminder, 2 days reminder, 1 hour reminder, 30 minutes reminder, because I like to do so many things in a go. Like Karis listed, so many things as well. And sometimes in our business, we tend to drop things along the way. And sometimes the things you could end up dropping might be really important. And these things will gather. And that's one of the reasons why you could look back and feel like, oh, I haven't achieved in this area. If you take a very good look back, it would have been, today you forgot that morning devotion. Tomorrow, you're supposed to meet up with this friend for coffee, didn't go. Next week you forgot again, another friend. They start casting you one by one. And then as the years, all this is building up and it's forming and shaping your life. You're sitting there saying, I know I was invited to a party, I'm feeling lonely. Well, my friends, how can I start again? But sometimes it's just the little things, and it's just writing a list. All it takes is putting things out to remind you. I learned a lot about myself recently. I haven't gone for a diagnosis, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm neurodiverse. I'm not sure if you understand all of this. Some people are atypical, some are neurodiverse, and some people are classed as the straight A type of people. So I find that my mind is constantly on the go, is working all the time. And if I do not follow a list, I would end up doing all things that I wasn't even supposed to do. And at the end of the day, I'm tired, but I've achieved nothing. And so it helps to just understand yourself, who you are, where you are at every point in time. I also find that routines shape who you are, and they form your life. And there's a book, Karis, I'm sure you probably have read it, The Habits of Highly Effective People. I read it many years because I cannot quote anything from that book. But it does talk about the fact that what you do in the morning, in the day, in the week, in the month, that shapes you and forms who you are. And so as we talk about this, let's take a step back. Think about our routines. When you wake up, what do you do? In the week, what do you do? What do you spend your life and your time doing? Taking stock would help us get to that place of fulfilling God's purpose in our lives.
I love it. Eva says now she writes down her appointments with her friends. I'm still gonna tease her about how she missed coming to my dad. Was it 80th or 70th birthday? Ha. I've forgiven you anyway, but I'm glad that you are writing down. And I do see on your Facebook and your social media that you really do seem to enjoy those moments with your girlfriends and all the people. So I see that one is really getting better over the years. But that's true. I agree with you. Taking stock and I loved when you were talking about beginning to understand yourself better. Self-awareness is such a great tool. Man, know thyself. If you know yourself, you know what your weaknesses are, and you know the things that are great temptations to you and that can derail you from the plans that God has for your life. So it's really good to know what your temptations are. If your temptation, like me, is a nice warm bed with a good movie and juice, then you know that if you have work to do, those are the things to avoid. You can't say that, oh, I'm going to just do 15 minutes, please. That's 2 hours gone. So if you really know yourself, that really, really helps. And when you were talking about habits, I was just thinking about how sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. One of the awesome things that you can do is, if you see someone who has an effective tool that they are using, or there's something that they are doing that's really helping them, this is one place where you can unapologetically borrow wisdom from other people. So who are the people around you and what are they doing really well? I loved when you were talking about your husband, Sasha, and the way he breaks things down and plans ahead and works in chunks. That's also something I would love to learn to do even better. It's gotten better, but I'm not yet there. So that's something to learn from them. And when we talk about learning from people, then definitely mentors, spiritual guides and leaders, of course, books, coaches. I am an advocate for coaching. If you feel that you're getting into a rut and it's the middle of the year or the middle of your life, and for years you feel that nothing really has been working, I would say get some fresh, new inspiration from the people you keep around you. Get someone who's doing well in your field, and it doesn't only have to be career academic. It could be someone who just seems to be very good at balancing or taking care of their family. Get closer to such people and start observing and asking questions as to how they do it. If it has to do with your exercise and physical, I have a friend. Ooh, by the way, let me just throw out a happy birthday to my sister Doris, from formerly of Gaffers, now City FM, who was just really, 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 really good at the health thing. Like, I admire her so much when I see all her videos and the stuff he does. So follow people like that who are good at some area you want to get good at, and that would inspire you to do even better. Miss Eva?
Karis, and I just want to reiterate what you said about having your people around you and mentors. I cannot overemphasize how important that is. And every step I've taken in life, that there seems to be a roadblock. Oftentimes, it took another person to help direct my path. And I just want to honor my friend Meg Benson, Meg Coviner, get that right,
Meg.
Eva. Meg Coviner. I remember when, after university, I wanted to get into the media. There was no doubt about that. I wanted to be on TV. I didn't consider radio because I'd done that prior to going to university. And every time I wrote my applications, Meg would go through everything. She would read through it. She'd go through my CV. Every time I dressed up to go for an interview, she would make some comments. And if she doesn't hold back on her words, if it doesn't look right, she'll tell you. And I really appreciate, having her with me. And I ended up getting back into radio through Meg. I applied for some TV jobs. I did get the first one, which was TV Africa, shortly after I finished university. But my number one was Metro TV. I remember applying and applying. They probably received about 5 applications from me. I guess they got fed up with it. Let's just give this girl an interview and see what she's all about. And I do remember her saying, "Why not radio? Why not radio? Sunny FM is really good. It's a Christian radio station." I kept saying, "I've done radio, been there, done that. I just want to go on TV." And Meg didn't leave it there. She said, "Let me just introduce you to someone." And she introduced me to Fifi. Fifi Folsom. Yeah.
That's how it started.
She talked to Fifi about me, and Fifi arranged an interview with Kojo. And incidentally, the interview was a day before my Metro TV interview. And Kojo gave me the job. I said yes. Went to Metro TV, they gave me the job. I said yes. That's even for you. I took juggling these 2 jobs. But in the end, I chose to stay with Sunny FM because I felt that was my calling. I loved it. Every time I was there and I had to leave, I wasn't happy. I vibed with everyone so well. I felt like my family, and I realized what I really wanted to do was right there and do a ministry on radio with people who are like-minded. And look at us today. Karis is still my friend 15 years later, all because of a friend leading me in a direction that I didn't even think I wanted to go to. And so, indeed, it's important that we have the right people in our lives, and just prayerfully seek and ask God to bring those people into our lives, and hopefully, something that would be a burden would be halved because it would help you carry it. Yes.
Yeah, love it, love it. And when you were talking about bringing the right people into our lives, what came to mind was the fact that we as people have to be humble as well, humility, because if you're not humble, when the person is telling you aspects of your life which you need to work on or how to get to that goal that you've set, you might react like, "What are you talking about? I know what I'm up. I have all the answers and I don't really want to do what you're saying." But if you have a teachable spirit, a humble spirit, then when people give you feedback, you are able to incorporate it into your life. And they talk about 360-degree feedback. So yes, you've done your self-reflection and you yourself know the areas of weakness or strength. But then you can also get the mentor, who's the person who's gone ahead of you, to give from their perspective. It's always great to have peers who are also very wise, who can speak into your life, even at your level. And then, this is an aspect we rarely do, especially in Africa. Looking at people who are behind you, who are younger than you, who are junior, quote unquote junior to you. It's good to hear from them as well, because they're coming from an angle that you have forgotten about, like you have graduated from there, so you think you've moved on. But it's good to hear from them as well, because they'll tell you the areas that you are lacking from that perspective. So I would say the mentors and the getting the people who can speak into your life is really, really, really critical. And hopefully with that, you're getting a little more vim, and you know that this year is definitely redeemable. Now, I know I promised that we'll talk about relationships and when it seems it's too late, but I feel like that's like a show all on its own. So, so we're definitely going to put that on the bill. I'm thinking about the topic, but yeah, something to do with when you feel that it's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late for that as well. I just want to do a quick recap on some of the areas we've talked about. Today we've been talking about not too late, not too lost. And we're coming from the perspective that we are entering into the second half of 2023. And we want to say that you are wonderful viewers and listeners. Don't give up on 2023. It's not too late. We talked about the fact that first you got to thank God for what you've been able to achieve. And you're able to do that by following the Sunday school adage. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. What that does is that it shows you what you have achieved and it gets into a more positive framework. And then we also talked about how you can look at your plans, your desires, your hopes from different angles. There are several things you can look at it from your physical health, from your financial wealth, career and academics, spiritual growth. You can look at it from relational well-being and then emotional, psychological self-care. And if you look at it in that way, you're able to identify which areas need to be worked on and which areas you're actually doing very well. If there's an imbalance, you can work on it. So that's something to do. We talked about seeking God's will and asking God to bring people who would help you go forward. We also talked about redeeming the time, not wasting time. I shared about the 15-minute rule, where if you have time in between stuff, you can use it productively. And then also planning according to your roles and not just one aspect, planning according to your roles. And now Eva has shared a lot about mentoring. She shared about getting people who can speak into your life and show you which way to go. Do it in a 360 holistic way, from above, from on the same level, from people who are just coming up. And that'll give you a really good view on how to plan and do better in the last few months of the year. Eva, any other aspects?
And I just want to add that when you start asking those questions and looking back and saying, I feel I need this here, I need this here, I need, I should have been here, I should have been there. It's actually a healthy sign. It's a healthy sign that you will desire growth, desire change.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage you that if you find yourself in that situation, acknowledging that and voicing it out however you choose to is great, because it means that you're about to do something, you're about to let God something in your life. And like Karis has given a breakdown of all the things we've shared, I believe that if these steps are followed, believe me, you'll have lots of testimonies by the time this year is over, by God's grace. And I do want to share this scripture with us, and that's from Joel 2:25. And the first part says, "So I will restore to you the years that the swarming locusts have eaten." I'm telling you this, my brothers, my sisters, when God is doing a work in your life, it doesn't matter how late you think you are. When He starts to propel you towards the direction you should be in, according to His will, all of those years that you felt were stolen away from you, you look back and, all you have to say is, God, I thank you for your grace. And you see that He's doing great work in your life. And so I just want to encourage us for this, that let's believe that God will do a good work. Let's trust that it will all come to pass and will be peaceful in His time.
Awesome. If you're listening to us today and you don't know our Lord Jesus Christ, we want to give you an opportunity to get to know Him. He's the basis of everything that we've talked about, the plans that we say would come to pass, the mentors who would be godly and give good counsel, the usage of our time as a resource that He's giving us. I love this Bible verse from Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And this is what God promises. So if you've never heard of him, take a minute, seek someone, read your Bible. Kristocentric is a good place to be. There's always good content. Stay here as well and get to know about Lord Jesus. It's been awesome. I can't believe an hour is gone. Eva?
I know. It's gone quickly.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us on the Life and Grace Show with Karis and Eva. We'll catch you same time next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. sharp. Don't miss it. We love you. And use the rest of your year awesomely, because God loves you too.
Nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever's in store for me, it's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't start shouting, knowing it's gonna be nice. Well, you never promised me that my days would be problem-free, but you did promise to always take care of me. Right now it seems that my troubles will never end. I know you promised to be my closest friend, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever you got in store for me, Lord. It's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, Lord, but that's when you shine. I can't start shouting. It's gonna be nice. Well, I gotta remind myself daily who lives inside of me. And when I stay close to you, close to me, you're gonna be. No more crying about my situation. I know what I gotta do. I gotta pray, gotta trust, gotta believe. Depend on you. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Whatever you got for me, it's gonna be nice. It seems crazy right now, but I know you shine in the midst of it. Lord, I'm gonna shout right now. It's gonna be nice. Oh, so I don't have the right to give up. I don't have the right to give in. You're gonna bring me through, so I'm gonna put my trust in you. I don't have the right to give up. I don't have the right to give in. You've always brought me through, so I'm gonna put my trust in you. Sing it with me. It's gonna be nice. It's crazy right now, crazy right now, but I know it's gonna be nice. I can't see my way through this, but I know you're working in the midst of it. I can shout right now. It's crazy right now.
Kristocentric Station.
Safe and family-friendly radio with music to uplift your spirit.
Hi, this is Darlene Check.
What's up to all my family? And this is your brother, your cousin, your nephew, Kirk Franklin.
What's up, everybody? This is Michael Stampling.
Everybody, this is your friend